My name is Junior Egg and I have every mental illness. As a result, I've taken every single drug. Today, we're going to be doing a tier list on their side effects. Let's start with weight gain. B, some people are okay gaining weight. For me, I gained 200 pounds on antipsychotics, but I then lost the 200 pounds due to the drug-induced anorexia. So kind of cancel each other out. Cataracts, pretty bad side effect of some schizophrenia drugs. I couldn't see it all. Give that an A. Irritability, I'm gonna give a D. Along with stuff like dizziness, crying, confusion. Not that none of those things are, terrible. It's just they could be a lot better.
Serotonin syndrome gets an SS for serotonin syndrome.
This is a great one. See, I was prescribed an antidepressant, and then I took St. John's wort on top of that, and I got serotonin syndrome. I was rushed to the hospital. Because I almost died, this one's getting an SS. Trouble concentrating, I'm going to give a high D. Myocarditis is a very rare but possible symptom for antidepressants and antipsychotics. My heart's very weak now. Luckily, there's nothing else to worry about in terms of myocarditis moving on. Diabetes, that's a tricky one. It's not a direct result of any medication. It's a side effect of the whole weight gain thing. I'm going to put it in A tier as sort of an advanced version of the weight gain. Extrapyramidal symptoms, again, that's pretty broad. I'm going to put that in B tier for now, but the more specific extrapyramidal symptoms are great. I really enjoyed my time with them, and we'll get to them later. Okay, again, chills, D tier. Hypotension, and hypertension, both B tiers. Hyperlipidation, B tier. Delirium, I gotta give a low S tier. Maybe actually just a high S tier. When I take Ambien, then the dreams begin to blend with reality. This one's just so fun. You can regain consciousness 3 hours later and your pants are off and you're in a supermarket. Gonna give muscle tension our first C. Hyponatremia is when the med is depleted sodium from your body. I'm gonna give that one a B as well. Cardiovascular collapse. Not sure what this one is exactly, but sounds pretty bad. Gonna put it above myocarditis. Tachycardia is an elevated heart rate. Give this one a B, a low B. Mydriasis, I believe that's when your pupils dilate. I'm gonna give that one a C. And cycloplegia, the paralysis of the eyes, gonna give that one a little under cataracts. Now, dry mouth, high D, just because as a symptom of some antipsychotics as well, your mouth being constantly dry, you have to spray, water into your mouth and stuff. Definitely inconvenient. By no means a good tier side effect, but not as bad as you might think. Nervousness, again, I'll put that around irritability. Okay, headaches definitely can be really bad. I'll give this a low C. Seizures, S tier, of course. That's S for seizures. Okay, we're getting into some really juicy stuff now. So, suicidal ideation, of course, is an SS tier. It's especially great when it's the side effect of an antidepressant. Irony time. Well, there's actually something I would put above suicidal ideation, and that's akathisia. Now, I really enjoyed my time with this one. Essentially, my adrenal glands were all emptied. I was feeling the constant need to move. That's actually what akathisia means, the inability to move. It's an inability to sit still. If you try to sit still, you have this anxiety that builds up inside of you that forces you to move. And when you are moving, you still feel like you're being chased. Excellent stuff. Real debilitating. People who experience akathisia feel like they kind of go through hell. And what makes it even better is that sometimes the doctors surprise you with it. They don't tell you it's a possible side effect. Or if you are experiencing it, then they will refer to it as vaguely restlessness. Really good. There are some things for it. Beta blockers, perhaps, which can make it a little bit better. But mostly, there really isn't much of a cure. That's actually why Jordan Peterson tried to put himself in a chemical coma to just ride it out. So, yeah, I love akathisia. I think it's probably the best thing on this list. SS tier easily. This is controversial, but I'm going to give sleep problems an S tier. Definitely a low S because it in and of itself isn't a huge life-threatening problem, but it can lead to so many huge life-threatening problems. I think it has to be an S. Going to give anxiety, flu-like symptoms, nausea, tingling sensations, sweating, excessive sweating, all that kind of stuff. All that's kind of D tier level. I will give tremors a C tier because then you start, moving into the I am visibly impaired territory. And on that note, I'll give ataxia a high C tier. Ataxia is the inability to balance, to coordinate, fine motor skills, that kind of stuff. When you start losing that, you're like bumping into things a lot. That's a high C tier. Brain zaps are fun. I'm definitely going to give that a low B tier just because of the kind of shock of withdrawal. This is something that can happen when you're, say, going off of an anti-anxiety or antidepressant. You'll just feel your brain go bzz, 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 almost like an electrical current is happening in your brain. That was great for me when I was having them. Very fun, very cool. Nightmares. This one is interesting. Excessive nightmares. I'm going to give this one a high D. However, if the nightmare persists after you wake up and you're having like this feeling of the nightmare blending into reality, then you're getting into more psychosis territory or delirium territory, fugue state territory. That's more of a B or even like a low A. But just the nightmares in and of itself being caused more vivid nightmares, just a very high. So problems with digestive system, going to give this one a C tier. It's a little broad, and the more specific the side effect, the better. Hallucinations, of course, got to give this one an S tier as well, next to delirium. I'll put fever and flu-like symptoms as low Cs. So cognitive impairment. This one's hard. It depends how deeply cognitively impaired the side effects make you. Preferably, as impaired as possible, but we have to take the average here. Like, how on average cognitively impairing is your average side effect? Is your average drug side effect? Obviously, it is terrifying to lose your intelligence. No one wants to do it, and that makes it good. But it's not like it's wiping out your brain entirely, and often these cognitive impairment side effects are reversible. So I'm going to give it a B. Reduced positive feelings. This is also known as anhedonia. Not too sure if this is a side effect of a lot of drugs or simply a symptom that some people are experiencing as part of their illness. For example, schizoid personality disorder and schizophrenics can experience the negative symptom of anhedonia, which is blunting their positive feelings. So that, as well as feeling emotionally numb. I'm going to put these together, and I'm going to put them in B tier.
Tardive dyskinesia.
Top tier side effect. The only problem with this one is it's kind of hard to get. You need to take the antipsychotic for a decent amount of time in order for you to feel the effects of tardive dyskinesia. And then it's also made worse by the fact that it often goes away when you discontinue the medication. Essentially what tardive dyskinesia is this involuntary spasming of your face. You're winking, you're sticking out your tongue at inopportune times. It's very painful. It obviously makes you unable to go out in public without making a scene. It can be extremely bad, and when it's permanent, it's really life-ruining. So obviously an SS tier. The question is just where exactly on SS it is. Acute dystonia is like tardive dyskinesia, but again, it's acute, not a persistent thing, doesn't last very long. Going to give this one a high A. So this one is just feeling dependent on medication. Doesn't seem like if you're just feeling dependent on medication, that's probably a D. If you're actually dependent on medication, then we're thinking more along the lines of B to A tier. I'm going to put it in C for that reason, because it depends what we mean by feeling dependent. Are you just feeling dependent, or are you actually dependent? A lot of people can relate to this one, low sex drive. C tier. And last but not least is pseudo-Parkinsonism. Some drugs, by blocking the dopamine receptors, like antipsychotics, they can actually take you from being schizophrenic to giving you something more like Parkinson's, right? It looks exactly like you have Parkinson's, tremors, shaking. The dopamine actually plays an important role in your central nervous system, and by taking the antipsychotics, you can essentially make yourself into someone who has Parkinson's. Of course, like anything else, though, I think this reverses if you stop taking the meds. Come on, who doesn't want Parkinson's? SS tier. So that's what I got for you today. A lot of great stuff. I think I covered probably most of the side effects of psychotropic medication. But if there's any that you guys would like to suggest in the comments below, tell me what you would rate your medication side effects, and we'll have a chat about it in the comments. That's all for now. Stay ill.